Well, at least they'll have a lot of fans on their side, Bayer Leverkusen, especially if Thomas Tuchel is to be believed. He says, we're playing against a lot of neutral fans who want Leverkusen to win the title, but we're playing for our expectations and for the title. It happens in tennis when you play against Roger Federer. You're always playing against his aura and the neutral fans because of his elegance and apparent ease. All this makes it more challenging for Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic. It's the same with us, which makes it even more difficult. Now, Archie, I wanted to ask you, is this the feeling in Germany that everybody's on the side of Leverkusen wanting them to beat Bayern?
For the most part, yes. I did speak to one Dortmund fan who said, look, given that Leverkusen have this big company behind them, what difference does it make if Bayern win yet another title? So I'd go with them, which shows you how browbeaten many German football fans are. But overall, overwhelming majority, what has made Leverkusen a lot more attractive to German football fans is the Xabi Alonso factor. He does have this level of swagger and smooth charm that I think endears him to so many people. And I know Ale's thinking, yeah, you're just saying this because he seems to like you. But I'm telling you what I see from the fans here. Like, they do, there is this allure that he has to him and this respect that he commands from being a former World Cup winner, Champions League winner, league title winner, where, well, not wherever he went, as Liverpool fans will know, but it is something that quite special that he has.
Yeah, because obviously Xabi Alonso and Archie are best friends now, because when Archie's pitch side, Leverkusen don't lose, and Xabi Alonso's noticed this, and so all the pressure actually on Saturday is on Archie Rhind-Tutt. This quote from Thomas Tuchel, though, it feels as though he's not talking about the team. It feels as though he is talking about Xabi Alonso, playing against his aura, the elegance, the apparent ease, because it's not been apparently easy for Leverkusen so far. They've had to battle for some of those wins. But Xabi Alonso does have that feel about him.
Yeah, and so does Bayer Leverkusen. And I think it has been a very clear contrast in between Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. And we have mentioned this time and time again, that you look at Leverkusen and there is a sense of team, there's a sense of identity, of a plan in place, of teamwork, togetherness, confidence, a sense of belief. You see it happening. It's in front of you. This is not something I'm making up. It's every week you see them playing, you kind of go, okay, I see something different about this group as compared to Bayern Munich, where you cannot say that there is this sense of belief or this plan or this organization or this identity. We haven't seen it consistently from Bayern Munich. We really haven't seen what we deem to be the best version of this team just yet. Now, they have in front of them a chance, a unique opportunity. With all the things that we think have gone wrong with Bayern Munich, they're still 2 points behind, and now they play against Bayer Leverkusen. So here's the chance for you to be that team, the big bad wolf, the team that everybody's afraid of. What I would say to the comments of Thomas Tuchel, and I would be very careful when Thomas Tuchel says something like this, because while he is mentioning and drawing parallels to Roger Federer, eventually Nadal became more of a Grand Slam winner than Roger Federer, as much as we love some Roger Federer. Djokovic then came above Nadal and above Roger Federer. So my point is, I don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense for you to bring this up, because what you're saying is that Leverkusen will take over the Roger Federer, in this case, Bayern Munich.
So he was obviously listening when you were saying all that, because I stopped. After he said Roger Federer, I stopped listening.
So let me ask you this then, because to Ale's point, we're talking about how Leverkusen, it's very clear to see, it's a team of individuals all fighting for one another to make a team, where with the Bayern team, you see those names, it's massive names, but the feeling is that they're not all working together as a team, that they're not all fighting for each other. Just how much of a difference that does make, Stevie, when you're inside that team, on both sides of it.
Well, it's huge, and if you look at it on paper, it's chalk and cheese. The problem is that Bayern have got match winners. They've got game winners. Whether they're playing well or whether they're not. And I think they've got more match winners than Leverkusen. And that's the only thing that Leverkusen have to worry about. You know, I'm listening to all of this and I'm thinking about all the interviews after games that Archie had with both managers. You know, with Alonso, when things weren't going well, he came around to, well, eventually we figured it out and we did all the things that we've been trying to do. Whereas Tuchel's interviews, it's, I've no idea. I don't know what's going on. I mean, during the week we were fantastic in training, but as soon as the whistle... I mean, so two completely different ways of going about it. One's getting there, but they're not sure how. The other team, who's sitting in the top right now, absolutely knows what they're doing. Now, if I've got a choice, I want to play on the team that knows what they're doing. But the one problem they have is Bayern Munich have got more game winners for me, and that's the biggest problem that they'll have.
Archie, it's just 2 points, though, as well, and it's only 2 points between them, and it feels like we're talking all the time, and maybe we're at fault a little bit for this. Oh, Bayer Leverkusen, look at how amazing they are, but Bayern Munich are just 2 points behind them. Is it really that bad?
Bayer Leverkusen are playing the third best season in the history of the Bundesliga in terms of points. Bayern Munich, despite all these performances that we've seen from them throughout this season, are playing the sixth best season that's ever been played in the Bundesliga. And it just hasn't felt like that because of what we've mentioned, because of the fact that Bayern lack this positive arrogance that you would expect of them, that comes with this, no matter what's happening, we're going to play our way, and the sort of certainty you would expect of the names in their squad. And I think that's what's so encouraging for Leverkusen, even if they do miss Victor Boniface a little bit up front, who brings an unpredictability that sometimes I don't think he knows what he's going to do, but most importantly, the opponent doesn't know what he's going to do. And I think the amount of problems that he caused Bayern in the first game, lacking Ezequiel Palacios as well, I think that Bayern can afford to miss more players in their team than Leverkusen can, which could play a really telling impact tomorrow. But also, Bayern can't afford to lose this game more than Leverkusen can. I think that Leverkusen can come back from that. But the fact that Thomas Tuchel's also spoken in his press conference about wanting a statement performance is telling of how he really thinks this season's gone. Sure, the points are on the board, but he knows that performances are important, because at Bayern Munich, as the head coach, you're not just getting rated and judged on those on the results. You're getting judged on the performances, and if they're not up to scratch, you might be wobbling in that coaching seat of yours.
What does it mean if Bayern Munich lose this game?
Well, it's a reality check, I think, for everybody, for Thomas Tuchel and from Bayern Munich, for the players who, I think most of the season they have played with this arrogance that, having won the league as many times as they have, I suppose you're entitled to this arrogance, but almost saying, we'll be there when it counts. We know we're good enough. We know we'll show up. We know we'll dominate games when we need to. We take it for granted. I think that's the arrogance that we have gotten from Bayern Munich so far this season, and to some degree from Thomas Tuchel as well, almost as if to say, yeah, it hasn't been great, but here we are. And now we have an opportunity. You lose this match, it's a slap in the face. You lose this match is that reality check that tells you can't just stumble your way through the season, be inconsistent, not play at your level, not really showcase the best version of your team, take it for granted, and then think that you're just going to get through it because you're Bayern Munich and because you have history on your side. You got to play the game on the field. And on the field right now, what we have seen, the evidence that we have seen, Bayer Leverkusen have been better than Bayern Munich. And so I agree with Archie. If Bayern Munich are to lose this game, I think it's a much, much bigger statement for Bayer Leverkusen, for themselves, and it signifies a whole lot more as well in terms of the failures of Bayern Munich. And it will become something that we're going to highlight and we're going to talk about, because it is the big, mighty Bayern Munich losing, and that's a big deal at any point, but certainly when it creates a 5-point gap at the top.
Archie, just to go back to what Stevie was saying about the differences he's noticed when you've talked to the two coaches this season, how's it been for you? Because you're obviously the one speaking to them all the time. Because it's pretty interesting that Stevie's noticed that. And it's true what he's saying. We've seen Tuchel sometimes maybe a bit more prickly, and Xabi Alonso always seeming to be very calm after these matches.
Nothing seems to faze Xabi Alonso. Whatever question I pose him, no matter what, it just seems like he's very much in his lane and he'll be going on in the same direction. Whereas with Thomas Tuchel, I sometimes think, okay, but what else are you saying with what you're saying here? And there's always something else that when he's answering a question, I'm thinking it's what you're not saying here that's interesting. Whereas, yeah, Xabi Alonso, I think, is much more. It's more difficult to work out what he's saying. But I have to say that I agree with Stevie's appraisal of the situation. That it also says something about the pressure that Thomas Tuchel is under. He is aware of how actually it's very difficult to win as Bayern Munich coach right now because there's been so much winning in the recent history. But also the noises that he's made in the press here suggest that how happy is he in Germany right now? I wouldn't say that he's giving the impression that he wants to be at Bayern forever. And were he to leave the club in the coming summer or not long after that, I wouldn't be terribly surprised because I think that the Premier League is something that's very attractive to him.
All right, we're going to take a look at the odds for this one. It's pretty much even Stevens, and it was the last time they played as well. It was a draw between the two sides. Stevie, it sounds as though you think Bayern are going to win, though.
Which one?
This game.
I just always find it hard to go against teams like Bayern when it comes to crunch games.
So you're going for a draw or a win for them?
I don't think Bayern Munich lose, which again is a good result for Bayer Leverkusen. I just think in the big games, being there before, having done it before, even though you're not playing well and you're up against it, you know, the big players rise to the occasion. And this is the biggest game of the season in Germany, no question.
You're struggling.
I am.
Yeah. Oh, the bookies.
You're convincing yourself, but you're struggling.
Yeah, I don't think Bayern loses, put it that way.
Right. It's Ale.
Oh, well, we have a whole pre-game coming tomorrow.
Oh, so we have to wait.
Well, of course we have to wait, because if not, I got to give you my prediction today, tomorrow, and the day after.
I don't feel like
You
we'll.
might have forgotten
I
by
don't feel
tomorrow.
like we'll ask Archie on the pre-game. Should we try and get one from him?
Yeah,
Archie,
sure.
You got a feeling which way it's going to go?
I'm actually with Stevie because I've been in this situation too many times before where you think, oh, Bayern Munich are wobbling. This Bayern Munich team in particular, they lose when you least expect it, and they win. And they win as well when, yeah, everyone's tipping against them. And such was the way that Thomas Tuchel changed his plan for the Stuttgart game, which in itself you could argue was a moral defeat, in that they're having to change their game against a Stuttgart team which has a much smaller budget than them. They did still neutralise their threat. And the quality of their players carrying out the instructions, if Thomas Tuchel has them all on board tomorrow, says to me that with the amount of game winners they have, even if Florian Wirtz for me is the best player in the league right now in terms of the difference he can make, I think Bayern might sneak it.
Oh no, the Archie magic may have worn off on the sidelines.
What happened with the love? The love for Xabi Alonso, what?